Julius Caesar was born in the summer of 100 BCE in a world that was powerful, sophisticated, and dangerously unstable. Rome at that time was not yet the enormous empire that would dominate the Mediterranean. It was still a republic, governed by a complex system of laws, traditions, and competing institutions that balanced one another in an uneasy equilibrium. On the surface, Rome was proud and confident. Its armies had defeated Carthage, expanded across Italy, and secured control over large parts of the Mediterranean. But beneath that surface lay corruption, social tension, political violence, and deep inequality. The Republic was strong, but it was also brittle. Into this world came a boy named Gaius Julius Caesar. He was born into the gens Julia, an old patrician family that claimed divine descent from the goddess Venus through the hero Aeneas. This prestigious lineage gave Caesar a powerful symbolic identity, even if his family was not among the wealthiest of Rome's aristocracy. In time, he would learn to use that ancestry as a tool of politics and propaganda. Caesar's childhood was shaped by the turbulent politics of late Republican Rome. Two great factions dominated public life. On one side were the optimates, the conservative senatorial elite who defended the traditional powers of the Senate. On the other were the populares, politicians who appealed directly to the people with promises of land reform, debt relief, and grain distributions. Caesar's family found itself aligned with the populares, largely through its connection to Gaius Marius, a brilliant general and a deeply controversial reformer. Marius, who married into Caesar's family and became his uncle by marriage, had transformed the Roman army by opening its ranks to poorer citizens. In doing so, he weakened the old aristocratic order and earned the hatred of many senators. As a child and teenager, Caesar would have heard the names Marius and Sulla spoken with fear, admiration, and bitterness. These two men stood at the center of a political rivalry that would explode into civil war and mark the end of the old Republican stability. By his teens, Caesar was already known as a sharp, ambitious young man. He received the traditional education of an aristocratic Roman, training in grammar, rhetoric, Greek language and literature, philosophy, and the art of persuasion. From an early age, he understood that in Rome, power belonged to those who could speak well in public and command attention in the forum. But just as his adult life was beginning, Rome itself slid into chaos. In 88 BCE, Sulla marched his army on Rome, an unprecedented act that shattered the old taboo against bringing legions into the city. The conflict between Sulla and Marius plunged Rome into bloodshed, purges, and proscriptions, legalized murder lists aimed at eliminating political enemies. Families were stripped of their property. Citizens lived in fear that their names might appear on a tablet of death. For the young Julius Caesar, the danger became personal. He married Cornelia, the daughter of Cinna, one of Marius's key allies. For Sulla, who eventually emerged victorious, this was intolerable. The dictator ordered Caesar to divorce Cornelia. Caesar refused. It was a bold and astonishingly risky act of defiance for a man barely in his 20s. Sulla retaliated. He stripped Caesar of his priesthood, confiscated his property, and placed him in real physical danger. Caesar was forced to flee Rome, moving from place to place in hiding, constantly at risk of assassination. He fell ill, survived on limited resources, and relied on the protection of friends and relatives willing to take enormous risks on his behalf. Eventually, through the intercession of influential figures, including members of his own family, Sulla relented. According to one later account, after granting Caesar a grudging pardon, Sulla remarked, "There are many Mariuses in this Caesar." It was meant as a warning. Caesar carried within him the potential to be as dangerous to the old order as Marius had been. Perhaps even more so. With Rome still unstable and his own position insecure, Caesar turned to the one career path that offered him both safety and opportunity: the army. Serving in Asia Minor and Cilicia, he quickly distinguished himself. He took part in sieges, negotiations, and battles, demonstrating courage and initiative. In one notable episode near Mytilene, when Roman forces were in danger, Caesar volunteered to join the front line and help rescue trapped soldiers. His bravery earned him the Corona Civica, the civic crown of oak leaves, one of the highest honors a Roman citizen could receive. These early military experiences did more than burnish his reputation. They awakened in him a deep understanding of army life, discipline, and the bond between a commander and his men. Caesar learned that soldiers would follow a leader who shared their dangers, rewarded their loyalty, and treated them with visible respect. After his military service, Caesar set sail to study rhetoric in Rhodes. On the way, his ship was captured by Cilician pirates, a moment that reveals his character in extraordinary detail. The pirates demanded a ransom of 20 talents of silver. Caesar laughed. He told them they clearly did not know who they were dealing with, and insisted that they ask for 50 talents instead. Amused, the pirates agreed. During his captivity, Caesar behaved not like a terrified prisoner, but like a man who fully expected to return and take revenge. He joked with his captors, shushed them when he wanted to sleep, read speeches aloud, and warned them repeatedly that one day he would have them crucified. They thought he was playing. When the ransom was paid and Caesar was released, he immediately raised a small naval force, hunted down the pirates, captured them, and carried out his promise. He had them crucified, but in an act of cold mercy, ordered their throats cut first to shorten their suffering. This episode perfectly encapsulates Julius Caesar in his youth. Charming, fearless, theatrical, and utterly ruthless when crossed. By the time he returned to Rome, he was no longer just a young aristocrat marked by misfortune. He was a decorated soldier, a survivor of Sulla's terror, and a man with a growing sense of destiny. His next steps would be taken not on the battlefield, but in the forum, where words could be as deadly as swords. He was ready to begin his rise in Roman politics.